If you're like most college students, you're pretty stressed out most of the time. And we're going to talk about that on this episode of College on Fleek, how to manage your stress. Hi, I'm Mary Dittman. I'm an award-winning business professor on the collegiate level and the creator of One-Derful Life and College on Fleek. In this episode of College on Fleek, we're going to talk about how to manage your stress. Now, today's Motivation Minute is actually a pretty good tie-in for stress management because in order to stay motivated, you need to be able to focus. And in order to be able to focus, you really need to be getting enough sleep. That can be challenging in college because you're taking a full load of classes, you might be an athlete, maybe you have to work, for sure your social life, but you really need to be getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night if possible. When you're not getting enough sleep, your body is producing excess stress hormones, particularly adrenaline and cortisol. And those hormones will keep you awake and they'll make it hard for you to focus. When you can't focus, you can't get things done. I've heard students say, well, I'll sleep when I'm dead. The problem is you're going to wish you were dead if you're not getting enough sleep. Now, I did this when I was in college. I've seen many of my students do this where they just run on empty, and the truth is that you're going to end up burning out or failing out. The truth is that getting sleep and maybe not doing some other things is going to do more to help you feel like you're managing your stress, and it'll help you get more things done. So whatever you have to do to get sleep, and I'm not talking about sleeping in class, but getting sleep, particularly at night, is critical if you want to be successful in college. Now, in every episode, I like to give you a success hack or a study hack. Now, the best study hack I could possibly give you would be to get the Study Smart Toolkit at collegeonfleek.com. That is the 3-step study system that I put together to help myself. I had terrible test anxiety in college, and it has helped thousands of students. And if you go to collegeonfleek.com, you can get that. It's totally free. We're going to email it to you, and that will help you study. It's for any class, any major, any university. Meanwhile, let me give you a success hack. Your university probably has a tutoring center. Now, I teach at Francis Marion University. We have a fantastic tutoring center, and I see so many students who struggle in their classes, and when I ask them, have you gone to the tutoring center, they tell me no. And when I've asked why, they'll say things like, I should be able to figure it out on my own, or I feel embarrassed. I don't want people to see me going to the tutoring center. They're going to think I'm dumb. And the truth is that nobody thinks you're dumb if you go to the tutoring center. What's dumb is needing help and not getting it. And look, if we could all figure out everything all by ourselves all the time, YouTube wouldn't be a thing, because we all go on YouTube to learn how to do things. Well, what's the difference if you go on YouTube to learn something or if you go to the tutoring center? See, what I think is dumb is if you spent 2 hours trying to do something that you could do in 30 minutes. I'm a believer in getting as much as I can out of as little investment as possible. See, I'm a businesswoman, and that's something we teach in business, return on investment. What's the minimum I can invest and make the maximum return? And I see that particularly with my time. What's the least amount of time and effort I can put into something and get the most out of it? Hello, that's the tutoring center. So why would you sit there for an hour banging your head against the wall trying to figure out a math problem that you don't understand when you could go to the tutoring center and somebody could probably walk you through it in 10 minutes? And then that frees you up more time to work on other stuff, or go have fun, or get some sleep. One of my students last semester went to the tutoring center so often that he got his work done all the time by Friday afternoon. He literally had Friday night, Saturday, Sunday completely off. He did no homework in college. That's crazy, because he went to the tutoring center all the time and got help. Well, that's not dumb. That's really smart. Not to mention the fact that he had been on academic probation, and by going to the tutoring center and getting help, he was just a couple of points away from the dean's list at the end of the semester. I mean, that's not dumb. He wasn't dumb. He was going to the tutoring center and getting help, and that gave him lots of time, and he was happier. Plus his grades improved. So go to the tutoring center. All right, let's talk about how to manage your stress. Listen, I think everybody feels stressed these days. When you see the news that's coming at you, the things that are going on, maybe in your town, our country, in the world, and then your own personal life, there's a lot to feel stressed about. Plus, we have this phone or the tablet that is all the time sending us messages and information, and it's just kind of normal to feel stressed. But it's not good for you, and it doesn't feel good. And stress keeps you from being productive, and frankly, it keeps you from being happy. So let's talk about how to manage your stress. The number one thing that you can do is just breathe. And you say, well, duh, I'm breathing all the time. But maybe not, because most people breathe really shallow. So, just in and out kind of shallow breaths. How you can tell if you're really breathing deeply is if your belly is moving in and out. The reason that breathing is important is when you're stressed, you're in a fight or flight. Okay, so you're like kind of stressed out, fight or flight, oh my gosh, reacting all the time. Whereas if you're focused and calm, you're in the rest and digest. Now, that's all going on in your autonomic nervous system. You don't have conscious control over it. You can't just say, okay, calm down. And in fact, usually when you do that, calm down, you just get more stressed out. The only way science has determined that we can switch from fight or flight to rest and digest is by extending the length of our exhale. If you adjust for 5 minutes, sit, close your eyes, and just breathe for 5 minutes. Don't look at your phone, close your eyes. 5 minutes. And that will do a lot to help you feel less stressed. I taught one of my classes to do this last semester, and one of the students was a graduating senior. She had been feeling very stressed and overwhelmed, and she told me that she had started doing just 5 minutes of breathing every morning, and it was really helping her manage her stress. And you say, well, that doesn't sound like it would really do anything, but I'm telling you it does, because it sends a signal to your brain that you're safe. And that gets your brain to stop producing those stress hormones of adrenaline and cortisol, to where you can calm down and focus and get some things done. So just 5 minutes of deep breathing where you could, for example, inhale to the count of 3 and exhale to the count of 5. So that longer exhale, just do it for 5 minutes. Set the timer on your phone for 5 minutes, close your eyes, and breathe for 5 minutes. It'll help you, I promise. Second way to manage your stress, the best thing to do would be some type of restorative practice. That could be yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, anything stretching, movement-based that is restorative. And I say restorative because while exercise and working out is important, if you're stressed out and you're in that fight or flight, sometimes if you go and do a strenuous weightlifting workout or strenuous cardio, it will actually keep you in that fight or flight, and it'll keep you stressed out. So a restorative practice can be very beneficial to helping you switch into that rest or digest. You don't have to do it for an hour, but 20 minutes would be very useful. And you might check and see on your campus if there's a Tai Chi class or Qigong or a restorative yoga class or anywhere in the town where you are that you could attend. And if not, hey, ask your good friend Mr. YouTube. You can get on there and Google a 15-minute yoga workout or, easy Tai Chi or Tai Chi for beginners. And just doing that for 15 or 20 minutes a day will really help you. Number 3, do a brain dump. I'm a huge fan of the brain dump. Whether you do it on your tablet or your laptop, I just like a pen and paper. A brain dump is basically where you take everything that's on your mind and you put it on a piece of paper. For me, my brain dumps tend to be, here's all the stuff I need to do. And I'll just list it out. Like, don't worry about putting it in order. Don't worry about it making any sense. But I'll just list out a bunch of stuff. So it might be all the things that are bothering me or that I need to work on. So I need to update my annual evaluation. I need to update this report for my boss. I need to grade these papers. I need to prepare this lecture. I need to call so-and-so. I need to clean out my closet. I need to clean the kitchen. I need to bake cupcakes. I need to, whatever, just anything that it is, you just list everything. Don't categorize it just on a piece of paper. List everything out. That gets it out of your brain and onto a piece of paper. And that way you can start to make sense of all these things that you have going on. Now, sometimes what I'll do from there is I'll actually make a list of things that I should be doing that I'm just not going to do. And in a way that kind of makes me feel good because I feel like, okay, I know the stuff I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just making a decision that I'm not going to do it. And it could be things like, I need to clean out my closet, but I'm not going to do that because I don't have time or I'm just not into it right now. Or, yeah, I should really redesign this website, but you know what? I don't feel like it. Anything like that. But I have a list, and so I just know, hey, whenever things calm down or I'm in a better space, I'll get to this stuff. But in the meantime, I'm not going to let it take up space in my head. I'm just going to park it right here. And that's really a good thing. Like if you're in the middle of final exams, or maybe you're trying to get a big group project done and you've got all these things that are kind of on your mind, write them down on a list. Here's the stuff I really should be trying to do, but I'm not going to try to do it until I get done with this. And it's amazing how much freedom that'll give you. Now, from that brain dump, you can go to step number 4, break some of these down into small, what is the very next step? So let's say, for example, on your brain dump, you said, write English paper. Well, you want to break that down. Okay, so what is the very next thing I need to do for the English paper? And it might be something just as simple as, I need to see when it's due, or I need to read over what is the assignment. I know I have to write a paper, but I don't know what it is. So what's the very next step you can take? Sometimes what I'll do as my next step is map the project. And when I map out a project, what that means is, for example, if it was writing an English paper, I would make a map, and the map would be, okay, I need to come up with a topic. I need to review the assignment sheet. I need to do some research. I need to create an outline. I need to have a works cited page. I need to go to the writing center. I need to write the intro, the body, the conclusion, whatever those things are. And I would just sort of make a list of everything. And then, like I said, break that down into what is the one very next thing you need to do. And it literally might be pull out the handout from my teacher and look at the assignment. It can feel really overwhelming and stressful when we say, I have to write an English paper. But if it's really just that I need to just look at the assignment, that's not quite as stressful. And that's why I'm a big fan of a brain dump and then breaking things into smaller pieces. Here's the thing with stress. We're really in a culture right now where it's sometimes hard to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. Everything seems urgent. Your teachers are telling you, you better prepare for class, you better read, you better study for this test. Your parents are saying you better get good grades. Your friends are saying we got to go out tonight. Maybe you're dating someone and they're like, you need to spend time with me. Of course, your phone is telling you, urgent, flash sale, buy this, go here, do this, like this. The news is telling you, everything's falling apart. Look at what just happened. And it all just seems and feels so urgent. But just because something's urgent doesn't mean that it's important. And we have to learn to distinguish what is important. And that's what we need to focus on. So many times we feel stressed because the urgent things are coming at us, where if we just really boil it down with that brain dump and those next steps, we can see what is truly important. One thing that I like to do is just what are the 3 most important things that I have to get done today. I just pick 3. And that could be something like, I need to call my mom, I need to grade these exams, I need to get ready for tomorrow. Like just the 3, no matter what else happens in the day, these 3 things must get done before I go to bed tonight. For you, it could be, I must make my flashcards because I have an exam coming up. I must take a look at that English assignment, and I must text my friend. Choose 3 things every day that these are the 3 things that must get done because they are important activities. Okay, spoiler alert, your important activities are probably not going to involve Netflix or Instagram. Just saying. Now, College on Fleek is a dialogue, not a monologue, and I'd love to hear from you. So put in the comments, how stressed are you right now? Are you, let's say, at a level 10 where you're like your head is about to explode? Or are you more like a 1 where you're like, no stress at all, everything's great? Tell us where you are right now with your stress and what has you stressed out. And remember, you can always connect with us at collegeonfleek.com. And join us next week when we're going to teach you how to take notes like a pro. That's next week here on College on Fleek.